You're always gentle? Is that what I just heard you say? You're always gentle? Well, come over here, big man. Come over here, my man. Here, sit on my hand.
These chairs are tougher.
I know, be gentle. I know, it's annoying. Pull your britches up over your crack. Gently, gentle. Oh,
I was as gently as can be. I did a chair for you there, Felicia. Fucking beautiful day in Southern California.
It is a gorgeous day in
California.
Fuck. Yeah.
It's like the sun's up, but you got a sweatshirt on, so it feels kind of nice. A good day just to get a coffee. It's Columbus Day. I didn't even know till this morning.
Yeah, my kids still had to go to school.
I can't fucking believe that. That's why when I found out, I'm like, wait a second. We're not going to be able to do the podcast. Felicia probably wants to go to Disneyland with him. You're like, fuck no. That's why I pay the extra 10. That's why I pay the extra 10. They work their holidays. Fuck it.
That's right.
I don't remember, like when I was a kid, did we have Columbus Day off when we were kids?
I don't remember anything.
It didn't come to life till we got a little older. Like
Yeah.
it really came to life or something like
All
that.
I remember from being a kid is don't tell the teacher your dad died when he didn't die. That's what I remember from being a kid. I learned that mistake. That's the one thing that stuck with me. Like, never make that mistake. Never say someone's died when they haven't.
That's fucking hysterical, Felicia.
I
We're
know,
talking
I
about
did.
Teachers and
I know.
and tutors this morning.
I know.
It's so weird. Like one time in the 6th grade, I was having a hard time. I really, really, really had a hard time in the 6th grade. Yeah, it was the pussy, that girl's little monkey that had me all confused. But social studies just fucking had me. Because,
Really?
Yeah, because I used to sit there and go, at that age, I used to go, what's fucking Africa got to do with me? I don't want to learn about fucking Africa. I like American history, so I failed it on purpose. And I used to have a hard time with science. I didn't like fucking science. I didn't like it at all. Math, I was always good at. And here's the problem: I was really good at math, and I never tell people about this. Like, yeah, when I was a kid, my mother did the numbers. So on Saturdays, no matter, I talked about this before, no matter what I was doing on Saturdays, like my mom said, you had 2 options. You could sit at home by yourself and play with your fucking toys. You come up to the Bronx and make 50 or 60 bucks. And to me, at the age of 6 or 5, that was a lot of fun. That was G.I. Joes. That was money that was unanswered for. That I could do whatever the fuck I wanted to, in my mind. And I would usually put that money away because I was such a cheap fuck and hit my mother for 20s during the week. And she'd go, what'd you do with the 60 from I gave you fucking Saturday? But I would have to go up to the Bronx and work in bookie rooms. And I learned how to add. Like, they would give me the individual sheets. So bookmakers have a big sheet, like the one that goes to control, but when a bookie would come in, they'd have individual sheets. And I would have to add up all the numbers. That was my real way into it. And, you know, I was 6, 7, 8, and they would give me $20, and I have to go to the store and figure out the change. And there was no mistakes. There was no fucking mistakes. I was working with adults. You follow me? So I would get the receipt. So I would save everything so I wouldn't have any problems. But when I was about 5 or 6, when my stepdad Juan got out of fucking prison, he wasn't allowed into Jersey. And one thing about Juan that I've never, his parole would not allow him in Jersey. We lived in 205 West 88th Street. This guy I've talked about him on the podcast before. And, you know, and it's always weird. Whenever I talk about him beating up somebody or tear gassing somebody in the face. But this was the other side of Juan. The side of Juan that grabbed me as a young man was he was very good with painting. This guy could look at a fucking picture and draw it, like draw a sketch of it.
Oh, really?
Like, he was very articulate. He played the guitar, you know, so even though he taught me how to sharpen his knife, and he taught me how to, when you shoot somebody, how to get the residue off your arm with alcohol and a candle. The other things that he showed me was when I would get in trouble and I would be punished, he would either do 2 things. He would either make me write in Spanish, I will not torture my mom, you know, 50,000 fucking times in Spanish.
Oh, really?
In Spanish. And I would go, why do I have to write it in Spanish? This is the United States. And he would go, because I want you to learn. He goes, no. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're writing in Spanish. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're going to write it in English. Don't worry about that. Like, you know, but he taught me how to write Spanish. So that taught me there. So here's this guy that was a fucking killer and all this shit. He taught me how to write. Well, the thing that he fucking drilled in my head, and that they call them la tabla in Spanish, is times tables. From the time he got out of fucking jail till I was 10, he would ask me every day, 6 times 7. Like, he would just ask me. So for 2-3 years, every time I got in trouble, I would have to sit down and write 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3. Go all the way up to 12, backwards. And then he'd quiz me, and I have to do it backwards because it's easy when you know him, you know. 1 times, 2 times, 3 times,
but
4 times.
But out of context,
But out of context, you're fucked. But it's so weird that sometimes people, like, I do math in my head all the time, but I don't let people know. Like, people will say shit to me, and I can figure out the math, but I don't want to. I'm really good with numbers. But when I really think back to it, math was taught to me by a guy that the state of New Jersey wouldn't allow in the state for like 6 months, and he was stuck with me, and this was one of his hobbies, Felicia. But till this day, I sit there and I'm like, wow, thank God that I had him.
Yeah.
To go over these tables with me, because today I would have been a fucking momo. I really would have been lost. We were talking about kids and like tutors.
No, because I have to get I got a tutor for my kids, and they've been really doing great, and it's costing me, my retirement. But no, it's worth it. When your kids are doing good, it's a good feeling, and that's nice that you had that. I never had anyone that was on me about that kind of stuff. Was there a little bit more effort on your part, knowing that when the guy that's teaching you how to do math is capable of opening a can of whoop ass? Does that motivate you a little bit harder?
At that time, he never laid a hand on me. He was my stepfather. He never laid a hand on me all those years, But what was really funny was that he talked to me. He always talked to me, and he yelled at me. He would get mad, like, over the latter years. He couldn't explain. He couldn't understand the stupidity. Yeah. Like, I sit back now, and he's like, whoa, wait a second. So we went over 4 times 8, 18 fucking times, and you can't figure out 32. And then he would do something, like with apples. You know how people just get, like, figures and shit? And it just connects one day. And we were talking about how I always, a friend of mine was telling me that this kid had a problem with science and math. And I was like, dog, you just got to get a tutor and drill them. It's just this thing that it finally connects with kids. And it could be at 6 or it could be at 16. I'm telling you that now. No, with kids, it could be at 6 or it could be with 16. I signed up, like we were talking about last week, taking college. Here I was a burglar, but I always took courses. And it came to the day that I had to switch up from fucking, intro to the galaxy to math. I forget what they call it, college prep math. And guys, I was fucking lost when it came to that algebra geometry thing. Yeah. That algebra geometry thing, once you're out of school 2 or 3 years, that shit disappears. Yeah. It's like I'd make that joke about the protractor. What the fuck did ever happen to the protractor? You never used it again. But what did it made you analytical. It was a different part of your mind that it's working. But anyway, with kids, it's so weird. Like, I never understood economics. Like, I really wanted to do something in the stock market and learn about trades and stuff and all that and investments. But I had a fucking hard time with economics. And I told you guys that I had a tutor. This is 30 years ago. His name was Mohammed Habib.
What?
Mohammed Habib.
Okay.
And he was given to me by the University of Colorado. They had a program called the CUOP study thing. And it was for minorities and kids from hard homes. What it basically was, it was the University of Colorado trying to get Spics and black people in there so they could get more funding. But it was a great program because you had to maintain a 2.0 and you had to do all these things, and you get 2 free hours a week of tutoring. And I remember signing up for this economics, and I was so fucking embarrassed because I was a grown man. Number one, I was a grown man. Number two, the guy was a fucking Arab of some sorts, and I was very prejudiced at the time because of stupidity, And I think I told you this before. I sat with the guy, and I think after a month, I was an economic genius. I ended up getting that as like a minor major on my thing. Like,
really?
Yeah, because it just took time. And he told me when he sat down, he goes, listen, we could stop this right now. But remember what I'm telling you. It's either going to take a week or it could take the whole semester. But you're going to get this. You wouldn't be here if you're not going to get this. And it kind of made sense. And that's why with kids, you have to be really patient. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some fucking kids that are just stupid out there. I'm not one to say it. I had a couple of them growing up. You know what I'm saying? They're 18 in the fucking 8th grade. They're driving to school. We got a problem. You know what I'm saying? You got a beard and shit.
Everyone's different.
Right.
Said the mother of the podcast. Everyone's different. Everyone has their own value.
But
don't hurt those kind of people.
You know, there's some people that I always.
Someone needs to get the shopping carts.
Listen, there's some people.
Someone needs to be the greeter at Walmart.
You can't do much with them, and that's what I'm saying.
It's all good. Felicia, all good.
Please, you know me. I'm not trying to talk to them the heart here. I'm not meaning it in a bad way.
No, I know.
mean, thank God your kids are intelligent. They get shit.
I know,
there's some fucking kids that just don't get shit. Those are the ones you see on America's Most Wanted, on Gangland, jumping up and down. Those are the kids we're talking about, and I'm not insulting nobody here. I was in a gang myself for a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying?
I bet you were Joey Diaz.
But it's so weird where you learn different things from, like in tutoring Excel with kids. It's just so hard. Like, I don't know. It's so much pressure when you're a kid sometimes. But once you get it, like I was telling you, organization is the number one fucking thing when you're a kid. But you don't know nothing about organization because nobody fucking tells you about it, you know?
Right.
You learn it later on in life. Like if you... But once I got left back, Felicia, was when all that shit came to... Like, it took me to get fucking left back. And that's a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
That's a horrible feeling. That's why I'm allowed to say stupid fucking kids, because I was one of those stupid fucking kids. You know, I fell in love with the pussy, and I was in love, and I thought Donnie and Marie were going to save me, but nobody fucking saved me.
Donnie and Marie don't save anybody.
Nobody. And they call it puppy love. That was bullshit. She moved on, and I fucking sat there crying like a little fucking Momo. But, you know, it was weird. Once I got left back, I understood. I understood that you got to... You know, like, go over everything they tell you in the daytime. Like, even if you don't have a test, just go home at night and rewrite what they said.
That's the thing.
That's
the
thing.
Like, I'm sure your mother didn't have, growing up, someone who taught her how to study, just like my mother didn't. You know, like my mom never knew how to go about the school thing. It's just like, you go to school, and when you get home, do your homework, and I don't want to hear about it. And she was a nice woman and a good mom, you know, but that's the thing. So I recognized when my kids were struggling a little bit, and when I say they were struggling, they got B's last year, you know, a couple of A minuses.
Fucking B's.
Yeah, that's not so bad. But you know, I think it's really important that I teach them how to study, because I never was taught how to study. And you know what? I'm glad I'm doing it, because this is what I did this weekend, and it reminds me of this. Is I went down to the Occupy LA, and I ran across this young fella, and he is going to college and mastering in something, blah blah blah. And but he gave the most eloquent speech to me while I was holding my camera up about what the whole Occupy LA is about, and the enthusiasm he had. And he was so remarkably intelligent and well spoken. And it made me think, yeah, if I really pour a lot of energy into my kids, they're going to be guys like this, and they're going to be able to affect change in some sense, you know? And then I was walking around the Occupy LA thing, and then when you were talking about stupid people, there was some random girl there with her hula hoop. There's always a random fucking girl with a hula hoop. I think during the Revolutionary War, there was probably a chick there with a fucking hula hoop. You know what I mean? As people were like tar and feathering, she was on the outskirts with a fucking, you know, wooden hula hoop.
There's always got to be a person with a hula hoop that shows up just to get some type. And those are the people I can't understand. I'm not saying that they're stupid or whatever. It's just the world I don't understand. I was at the UFC this last weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to the UFC Fan Expo. And I'm not going to... And it's just so weird that... You know, Felicia, and you get mad at me sometimes for this. Like, I could just see people's bullshit sometimes. Like, I'm a person, I have a lot of heart, and I know when somebody else has a lot of heart. And when I see somebody, and I just don't buy it, you know, and I respect what they're doing, but I know it's an act, and I know that if it was between them and a gun, they wouldn't believe that way. So I try to avoid those people. But there was a guy down there, and he had a huge line of people to see him. And at the time, my phone rang, and it was somebody I grew up with. And he goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm at the UFC Fan Expo." And I go, "Right now I'm in front of this guy's booth, and he's got the most people in front of him." And he goes, "I don't get it," you know. And I was like, "I don't get it either, you know. It's so fake. I mean, the whole patois that he's got is fake. If you can't see it, you're a fucking retard." But some
What kind of booth was it?
It was just like a regular booth where you give autographs and shit.
Okay,
you know?
so he was a UFC guy.
He was just some celebrity type.
Okay.
But you know, like, and I got off the phone with him, and later on I called him, and I go, "Why'd you say that to me?" He goes, "I just could see right through it." I hate, you know, we got into the conversation. It's the same thing. You know, I don't mind when somebody has a cause in their heart and they really believe in it. It's like Ari put up a video. And he put up a video about going to the Holocaust. Okay?
No, that was a very strong
Very strong video,
yeah,
okay? And
video.
it was great because he called
If you
me.
haven't seen it, you should go and
I
see
told
it.
him, I go, "Ari, please, go over there and tape it." He goes, "Well, people won't like it." I go, "Ari, it gives people a different view of who you are." But the whole thing of the story is that he poured his heart out about this thing. He's fucking Jewish. If you look at the first fucking comment under there, it says, "Well, why don't you talk about the 40,000 Chinese that died in their struggle?" So I go to the fucking guy's page, and he's a white dude from Ohio that took fucking Intro to China, and all of a sudden, do you understand me?
Yeah,
so that's the kind of shit I see. Those are the people that will bring a hula hoop. Those are the people, and I told you, and Felicia looks at me, she's like, there's a word that Felicia thinks I am. Those are the people you see at a party, And you're talking about your kids, and I'm talking about fucking smoking dope, and all of a sudden they'll say, what about the 40 million Chinese? And all of a sudden all these people go, ooh, like he gives a shit, but the guy don't even fucking give a fuck. He's just talking that shit so he can be interesting, or at least sound interesting. I see through all that shit. Like, as soon as I see people start with that kind of shit, like, it just, I know, I grew up in Boulder for 12 fucking years. 50% of those people there are there for something other, but the main courses, they all get a check on Friday. That's why you got the time and the energy to think about the fucking 40 million Chinese that died in 1922 when they sat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, really?
yeah.
2000, there's somebody always that has a cause that has like the wrong fucking cause for all the wrong reasons. And I see through those people right from the fucking jump when they come with their little fucking axe with the little Sinatra hat twisted, you know what I'm saying? You just see them, you know? And it's so weird that this is a kid I grew up with, and he saw the same thing years ago. And if I mention it to people, they would say, well, maybe you're being, what's the word? Not sarcastic, but cynical.
Yeah.
You know? And it's not being cynical. It's that you see right through that fake shit. The chick with the fucking hula hoop. What made you think of that? What the fuck? I mean, Felicia, you're as sweet as fucking butter. Somebody from Little Rock, Arkansas, wrote me an email. I forget what his name is. I want to send you some love. And he said, Felicia's as sweet as ice cream. And you seen it. So you mentioned it for a reason. Something must have made you mention it. Does that get under your skin? Or
the hula hoop
you're very
thing?
sweet. You let people live and let live. And I won't say something. I won't say something unless it's under my last fucking nerve.
Here's the thing. There's no open mic for hula hoopers. Like, maybe if you're just into hula hooping, how else are you going to get an audience? So I mean, it was kind of ridiculous when I saw it because she had like on a hula hoop outfit, but you know, but then who am I to judge? I'm down there with my camera trying to express myself. So, but I understand what you're saying. Like, I hope people don't think, because I made a little video of the whole Occupy LA thing. I mean, just a little 4-minute video, and I've been posting some stuff on my Facebook and a little bit on Twitter, not much, but. I kind of felt when I went down there that why aren't more people down here? And there were a lot of people there, but it's like what really gets on my nerves is I'm really sick of everyone saying the economy sucks, Obama sucks, Republicans suck, and then they don't go down there. They don't go down there. You know, like if you're, I just am tired of people bitching without making a move on how to fix something. That's what gets on my nerves. And by the way, I'm totally like that too. You know, I have moments, or you get busy in your life, but I get a little sick about that. You know what I mean? Like, I've been noticing on Facebook that there's been a lot of pictures with all these sayings, and they're really cute pictures, and then everyone will share them, and some of the stuff's really cool, but other stuff is like, do you really fucking believe that? But then I'm doing it, you know, so I think you know, you have to be careful, you know, projecting your opinions on what other people are doing. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Some people are just like, fuck, you're gonna, as you would say, give me an ear beating on this again, you know.
It's really weird that I love when people sit there and talk about Obama, and they talk about the system, and they talk about jobs, and they talk about all this shit. And you know what? At the bottom end, man, you could talk about all this shit you want to. It all starts with you. And that's what gets me fucking pissed the fuck off. You know, it's like, oh, son, all these people on TV buy American, but you drive a BMW. Okay, so just leave me the fuck alone with that shit.
Yeah.
You know, and I drive a Subaru, but you don't see me fucking putting people the fuck down. You know, you don't see me people putting the fuck down. For a long time, American cars weren't that fucking good, and people had to make the money stretch to where it went. Now, we're in a fucking bind in this country. We're in a real fucking bind. We really are. We're in a ship we're on a fucking runaway ship that nobody can man because nobody's fucking qualified. The job is too fucking big. It's too way out of the control.
Well, that's the thing.
And we got too many fucking morons on the ship on the side giving their fucking opinions.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing.
So all we can do as Americans is do the best we fucking can. You know, little things, recycle, fucking do the best you can. But it all starts with you. I hate it when Obama got elected. Not because of Obama or whatever, but because I had to read these things about change. Like just one man was going to change what's going on in this country.
Well, here's the thing.
You fucking
but
morons.
He did make change. He made change, even if all healthcare is just, that's all the change is doing. He did make change.
Forget about the healthcare and Obama.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you was, this guy ain't going to change shit. It starts with us, Felicia.
Yeah, that's true.
Fuck Obama and fuck Lincoln and fuck all of them. It's 2012 and there's no work out there. Half the fucking people you see shouldn't be here. I mean, there's a million fucking issues. Forget about that. The change that we're looking for to make us survive the next 40 years starts with us, Felicia. It's not going to be with some fucking guy in a suit on a fucking pedestal telling us. It starts with us. And us as Americans don't even know where to start. But it starts with doing little fucking things in your community, and it spreads the fuck out. That's what it starts with. Some guy ain't going to save us right now. It ain't going to be some guy. Forget about the healthcare. Dog, healthcare is out of fucking control.
Well, why should Obama stick his neck out when we won't even as individuals stick our necks out?
Yeah, that's the truth.
Exactly
that's the fucking truth.
That's
so
exactly
I don't even want to hear. It doesn't matter who's the man in the post. It doesn't matter whether that chick is running. It doesn't matter at this point. Take a look around you. Take a look around you. See the fucking stupidity around you. Really? On a Monday, you're going to close the 405 and the fucking 710 for construction? Who's making these fucking decisions? You know, there's just decisions that you sit there and you go, what the fuck is going on? All you could do is control your little world, make your little world and the people around you better. I mean, think about it. Nobody's going to change this right now. No, we're just.
No, everyone needs to take personal responsibility.
This is at an all-time fucking.
For sure.
We could sit here and talk about all the politics, and that's what I didn't want you going into. Like, we're going to start another war. We're going to do this. I had lunch with Alex Jones the other day.
Oh, yeah?
My head almost blew the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, because they sit there and the government's doing this, and the government's doing that, and the government's doing this. Well, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing to make it better? You know all this shit going in. We got this thing going on now. Oh, that they're going to close the medical marijuana stores. What are you going to fucking do? What are you going to do? Obama lied to us. No, he didn't lie. It's election time. His rating is 25%. This guy's not going to win again. Sure not. I don't even know who's going to fucking take his place, but it doesn't matter. It's election time. Fall for the fucking hooks. They're going to close the big stores. If you got a guy standing in front of your store, they're going to close that store. If you stay open till 10, they're going to close that store. If you advertise, they're going to close that store. That little store in Magnolia that I go to, that nobody fucking sees the sign, that'll stay open forever.
You think?
Yeah, because they're hidden. Ain't nobody. They don't even have a business license. They just there until the cops close the door, which is what you do.
Yeah.
You don't do nothing. What are you gonna do? The Russians, as long as we got Russians, we'll have weed stores, dog, because they don't give a fuck. They know the rules. Just shut the fuck up. Close at 6. Give you 10 types of weed, and you'll stay open. All the big ones in Hollywood that sell the candies and the advertising, and you know Johnny Banana, Cheech and Chong play the drums in front of the place. They'll go down fucking quick.
Really?
Yeah, they're gonna make an example. I'm not gonna
Are
let
they
you
really
run again.
talking about closing all of them?
Listen, I don't believe fucking dick, and it doesn't even matter to me because you know me. I'm gonna keep smoking dope with 3
why
hands.
don't they just make it legal and tax it? Fuck it, you know, like I just don't get. That's just very frustrating.
Again, you know,
I
we're sitting here.
I need to call that girl with the hula hoop.
Yeah,
and go down
we're
and
sitting
protest
here.
in front of one
We're
of those
sitting here. They're
stores.
cutting programs out of schools. They're cutting so many fucking things for kids after school. But you know what? They're gonna close the weed stores. Let them fucking smoke and toke, and nobody walks around with a fucking headache in LA, and just keep taxing them. I mean, they've been taxing them for the last 2 years. So it's
have been paying.
Yeah, we've been paying taxes. So it's the federal government now that's saying fuck them. We're gonna shut them down. You know, but I don't care.
I would be curious to know how much tax revenue is coming from weed stores.
A lot.
Yeah,
a fucking lot.
Think? Yeah.
Well, go to, there's 1,000.
Look that up, yeah.
Denver's got the stores now, I mean, it just makes sense. You're going to go fuck with these people for what? Yeah. These people need their little medication, their little weed to get them going all fucking day so they can jump up and down. Now you want to cut them off like that. It just never made sense to me,
Yeah, well, anyway, so if you guys have anything you would like to say about the weed store's possibility of closing, I hope they don't. You can give us a email. Send us one at beautyandthebeastpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you do send an email on that weed stuff, I don't want no hippies with no fucking bullshit. Send me an email that fucking matters, because I'll fucking delete that mother. I don't want to hear about Prop 84. No, I don't know none of this shit. Yeah. I smoke weed, and I understand what it is to have a bad back. I understand what it is to have pain. I understand what it is to have cancer, and the marijuana fucking helps you, Me, I get high, I get the anxiety and the sleep apnea. I don't understand all the other things. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you people and tell you I'm going to go to Hemp Fest, because that's never going to fucking happen.
Well, Tom Rhodes used to have a great joke about, because, like I was always into legalizing marijuana until I went to a marijuana festival, and I thought, here are all the reasons why they shouldn't legalize marijuana. I'm sure there are lots of girls with hula hoops there.
Yeah, I know. And don't bathe their armpits and all that shit. the main fight on the card was the third fight between these two guys. And the one kid is very mild-mannered. He's a Jersey kid. His name is Frankie Edgar. And the other guy was Gray Manning, who was also very mild-mannered. They fought once in their career early on, and Gray Maynard beat him. So it was the only loss that Frankie Edgar had on this thing. Once he became champion of that division, they decided to fight again. Gray Maynard said, fuck it, I'm going to go take the title from him. So the second fight was in January. And Gray Maynard punched him 97 times in the first round.
Holy shit.
Busted him up, the whole thing. I mean, this guy he threw 97 punches in the first round. He connected with like 60 of them. 20 of them went to the fucking kid's head.
Was this the one with the hematoma?
No.
No.
This kid was walking around wobbly.
Oh,
There's
no.
not if you know anything about Frankie Edgar, he's a kid from Toms River, New Jersey, which is next to Seaside. It's Brick Township. Okay, and I used to get the pleasure of going down there as a kid all the fucking time. I would go down there on the weekends. There used to be this place, Mr. Breakfast. And one day when I was a kid, a buddy of mine, we were talking, and a buddy of mine went nuts and picked up a fucking dish with eggs and threw them on the wall and looked at the place and said, suck my dick. And it was possibly one of the funniest things I was ever a part of. To this day, whenever we talk on the phone once a week, I always ask him, do you want to go to Mr. Breakfast? But one of the other things I got to see at Mr. Breakfast, I got to see a lot of fist fights for breakfast. Real drag out, two kids, 15, 16, going at it for 20 fucking minutes on the floor,
Oh, really?
punching each other. And I made a mental note. I was like, what goes on is that these kids from up north, meaning my friends and shit, go down to the shore and they bully on these fucking shore kids. But these shore kids would fucking fight you to the end. I used to sit there and the kids would be bleeding and there'd be two, circles and, all right, man, it's over. And all of a sudden the kid that got beat up from down the shore would come back and go, no, it ain't over. You know what? You fucked me up, but your mother sucks dick. We're doing this again. And this went on for another 20 minutes. And I always made a mental note, don't fuck around down the shore with these fucking, these little white kids.
Yeah.
And the thing is that there's so many of them in the school. What they do is the communities aren't so big. So they take one high school for 3 communities. Now they make the the high school so big that they have to play against bigger division group force kids. They put you in group 4, and that was Brick Township. And that's how I know. So all your life, you're playing Passaic, East Orange, you're playing these huge fucking black schools, and they throw you the fuck around and beat you up. So you just get this sense of being from Toms River, and we played them once in high school, and I remember that a buddy of mine hit one of them really hard, and he bounced off, and he got knocked out.
Oh, really?
Like he was like, holy fuck, like 2 days later. My head had a headache for 2 days, but it was something I always made a mental note. And and where I come from, it's kind of the same thing. We always had to play those schools, so we got beat up. And in my neighborhood, there was a thing. We had a teacher that used to always refer to it as heart. You got to have a lot of fucking heart. He'd always drill that into you. And he would call people out on it. Like, what the problem with you is you ain't got no fucking heart. And you did not want to be called out by him. So heart meant that you had to throw yourself into any situation, because if it got back to him, he would fucking torment you in class. What happened Saturday night? I heard there was a fist fight and the cops came and you had no heart. I mean, it was fucking real.
Oh, really?
So this guy's name was Freddie T. I've talked to him in fact, I still talk to him. I'll call him when I leave here, and he's like, the fucking kid's got a lot of heart. And that was his main thing. So that expression always stuck with me. And it's just this weird feeling, like you just got to have fucking heart. Whatever happens, you like the fucking Occupy Wall Street. It's their belief. If it means getting a fucking tent, they got to have heart. You got to have fucking heart.
Right.
When the cops come and the cops are coming, the ones that stay home with the hula hoop, now you know who ain't got heart.
Right.
You following me?
Yeah.
And heart I categorize into a lot of things. Part of my anger sometimes that you look at is the thing that happened with Rogan. When he went and he said, I'm walking out of the store, and all those comics said, we're going to fucking walk out, and then they never showed up. To me, you ain't got no heart. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no coming back after that. You ain't got no heart. Why would I want you in my realm? You don't have any fucking heart. That's heart. That's heart. You got to put your heart into it, or if not, don't do something. This kid took 90, 60 fucking punches in the first round, won the second round. This is the second fight I'm talking about. The third round, Gray Man won. Anyway, the fight ended in a draw. Now, me and Terry went to see him in fight 67 against Sean Scher. And Terry's fucking an accountant, and she's conservative. And this bitch looked at me and goes, Joey, how much do you have on your ATM card? And I go, why? She goes, we're going to bet it on Frankie Edgar. And I looked at my wife and I go, why are you saying this to me? And she goes, because he's a bad motherfucker. There's something about him. And I'm like, how do you know about this? What, she seen the heart in him. This is before Sean Shirk, where all my friends in the hotel room were saying Sean Shirk's gonna beat up Frankie Edgar, and I just knew it. The way he fights, he's just a fucking little gorilla. He's very humble. And me and my wife went and put like 300 on him, and we won. Like ended up 600. We had a dinner. We had a great time.
Awesome.
But it was, and I was like, you know about heart, don't you? So then when you see this fucking draw January 11th, you're like. I mean, he came back in the second round. He actually picked the kid up after his face was battered. Fucking body slammed him. Felicia, you're in the audience just going, this is Rocky. This is what this country's about. It's heart. Rocky had heart. When you see Rocky 2 and the black guy says to Apollo Creed, he goes, come here for a second. Look what he's doing. And he goes, I ain't got time for that. And he looks at him and he goes, you know what, bro? You don't want this guy in your life. This guy's got fucking heart. And he's like, oh, he's a southpaw. That heart thing, I've always believed the Buffalo Bills this year got heart. They don't give a fuck. They're stealing balls out of people's hands.
Yeah.
That's heart. So Saturday night we go there. The main fight I want to see, and I gave it out on Twitter, and I gave out that parlay, but my main fight was Frankie Edgar because I knew he was not going to lose. I just know the mentality of those people. Those people will not go home. Another time I was down the shore and I seen a fist fight when two kids got drunk, and the next day I heard that the kid that lost from down the shore went with his father in a van to the hotel where the kid was staying, got him out of bed and said, I don't want any problems. I just need to fight you again. I need to know I was in the game. And they drove to a fucking Kmart parking lot. This kid was telling me a story. He goes, they fought. And he goes, I opened up his lip again. And this time the blood was going. And he looked at me and he goes, listen, let's fight to one more song. Ted Nugent came on.
Oh, right.
And he goes, let's fight to Ted Nugent. And they fought to Ted Nugent. They shook hands. They drove each other and I always remembered that. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
This
Let's
kid,
fight for one more
song. Just one. Meanwhile, the kid's tooth is hanging, his lip is hanging.
Oh my God.
So I'd always made these mental notes. So I just knew this kid's going to improve. And he went in there, Felicia, and what do you think happened the first round? Great man that comes out and throws a beating on Frankie Edgar of amazing proportions. Busted nose, blood all over his face, eyeball poked. The fucking inside of the eye was already blood. I mean, punched that he didn't know what he was doing. He kept holding on to his leg. Gray Maynard kept hitting him. He fucking held on, pulled out the round, and knocked him out in the fourth round. Listen, and he did it in Houston, Texas, which that motherfucker said he got heart, Jack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This place erupted, Felicia, like my balls. Went up into my stomach. Like I was in the ground level walking up to go to the bathroom because I knew the fifth round was going to be great. He didn't even go into the fifth round. He just started boxing this kid and punching the fuck out of him. When he took that belt, you could see his face. He was fucking beat up. I mean, this kid, when somebody pokes you in the eye,
so the kid won? He won?
He won. This time he won. It wasn't a draw. This kid's from Jersey. And I was sitting next to Dan Cormier, who's a wrestler who's fighting for the next Showtime Grand Prix. And I remember we both looked at each other and we walked out of the arena together and we were like, that was fucking amazing. And he goes, bro, he goes, I used to coach this other kid from fucking Jersey and they got that fucking quality. And I go, what was the kid's name? He goes, Stevie Mocco. And I knew his dad. His dad was the mayor of my town and shit, his uncle. But it's so weird that the guy's seen that quality also. And that quality, I love that quality in human beings, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Even if you lose, there's people who have heart and lose. And that's why I told Dan Cormier, I go, Dan Cormier, I got to tell you something. Sometimes, like me, Douglas, I was coming to society, there ain't no second place. That's the society I came from. There ain't no second place. I'm not as competitive in my mind anymore because I know I'll rot my fucking asshole out. I get too into it. But I know in my mind there's no second place. All that shit they say, oh, we'll get them next time. That's bullshit. And Gray Maiden knows, everybody knows it. That and where he comes from, like Dan said, he goes, it's okay, you lost. If you lose, you might as well come home dead. Like that's the only way you're not going to hear it. Yeah, you got to come home fucking dead, And that goes back to my mother's law. Never come home hit. You got to have heart.
You got to have heart. And you know what? It reminds me of today. I was looking at the Huffington Post because that's what I do every day to try to write a joke in some fucking fashion. And I saw a video where Geraldo Rivera went down to Occupy LA. Speaking of heart. No, Occupy Wall Street. Speaking of heart. And everyone surrounds him and they start chanting, Fox News lies, Fox News lies, Fox News lies. and it was shot from somebody who had a shitty little camera way down low and looking through the legs of everyone screaming at this, and Geraldo Rivera's like wiping his brow, and it was so like, wow, that is a moment where the chickens have come home to roost. Like, can you imagine that a fucking crowd is around you saying what you do as a journalist is a fucking lie? It was really, really powerful and interesting. I'll put it up on my Twitter and
that
Facebook.
Guy Geraldo Rivera's been around for a long time. He's
around
gotten beatings.
Fucking ever.
He was the king of New York City when I was growing up, and I give him credit. I mean, he fucked it up with Al Capone's safe. You know, it took him a couple of years to come back from that one.
He's made some big blunders.
Yeah, he made some blunders. But you know what, dog? Just like us, he's still fucking there. Me and Felicia Michaels are a fan of fucking comedy, and we're a fan of comics with a lot of heart, and we see it. And we're a fan of underdogs, because that's what the fuck we are. And we've had conversations about Margaret Cho before, right? And we had a conversation. You worked with her in Atlanta, had a great weekend. I did the Storyteller show with her. But this Saturday night, I was really high, ate a pot cookie at the UFC, and I went back to my room, and her special was on her logo.
Oh, yeah?
And she was talking about, you know me, I love to laugh, Felicia. Right. I love it. I love to cry and laugh. I love it. I love when a comedian makes me laugh that I believe in. Like when other people are like, oh, they're old, and this motherfucker's just throwing heat at you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she was talking about flying, that she flies every week, and then she sits in a window seat. And what is it with people that no, she sits in an aisle seat because she doesn't like a window seat, because when you get up, you got to walk out, and the people never want to get up. There's always people that don't want to get up.
Right,
they suck their tummy in, and they look the other way, and they're like, go ahead. And all of a sudden, as she gets close to them, they go, put your ass in my face. I know it sounds stupid, but when you see her fucking do it, Felicia, and it was true, because the other day I flew, and I'm like, why wouldn't this guy get up if he knew what my ass smelled like? He would fucking move. But sure enough, I just walked by there with like a half a fart still.
Oh, no.
You know, like when you fart and one half comes down, the other one gets half the top end of your cheek. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Or like you have a little side pocket up there somewhere, and it just hangs out. I
just know me and Felicia, both fans of underdogs. And
no, but that's the thing that really struck me about this Geraldo Rivera video, is that here's a guy who was around for fucking
40
ever,
fucking years,
blew the lid off of mental health issues in New York City as a cub reporter or whatever, and then. I mean, tremendous career. Then the whole debacle with the show and the chair in the face. And when these guys were yelling Fox News lies, you could see in his face, like, fuck, this is what it's come to, Geraldo.
Felicia, he knew it.
This is what it's come to. You know when someone is having that moment. You know, that's why it's really hard for me to watch when people embarrass themselves on TV. Like one time Kim Basinger came out on the Oscars and she had some drinks. I feel embarrassed. You know why? Because I do that shit all the time. And you know when someone is all like, fuck, you know?
But I give Geraldo credit just for going down there.
Yeah.
Just for going down there. He knew he was going to face the Lions, and he wanted to give his story. And I got nothing wrong against that. The guy went down there like fucking, what's his name in Gladiator? You got to do what you got to do. He went down there like Bruce Lee in the Chinese Connection. He knew he might come back or he might not come back.
Well, what do you think is scarier as a reporter, if you were to be a part of Arab Spring where everyone's pissed and they're just going to give you a beat down, or if you're in front of people who are calm and tend to be pacifists who have gotten to a point where they're screaming at you, Fox News lies? I mean, that was a pretty horrific video, and I put it on my Facebook. Anyway, I was very struck by that. I was also very struck by the fact that I read the other day that Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen have a $39,000 alligator purse, Joey, and it's sold out. $39,000, and it's sold out. That makes me so fucking angry. You know what the average woman makes in America? At $35,000 a year, and they're selling a fucking backpack, $39,000 out of alligator skin.
And it's sold out.
And it's sold out. That fucking.
You mad at them?
What
am I gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I'm kind of mad at them. I just think it's such a. I think it's ridiculous.
I'm mad at the people that bought it to support that shit.
Yeah. Like someone told me a young girl bought Aaron Spelling's mansion, like the 20-room mansion. That's some young heiress, and it's just like, what the fuck, man? I thought the whole point of guys like that making a mansion like that was then to turn it into something for the public when you die. You know what I mean? Put a fucking museum up there.
Beauty and the Beast coming at you, Felicia Michaels.
Joey motherfucking Diaz.
Sexy motherfucking Felicia Michaels. Straight from the gym. The monkey still got a little fucking seat smell to it. You know what I'm saying? Forget about it.
I would smell it myself if I could bend over that far.
Forget about it. Anyway, we're here. We're queer. It's another beautiful day in Southern California. A couple months ago, I don't know what the fuck the discussion was about. We were talking about the Kardashians.
Yes.
And I was talking about them in a negative way. Although, like, I watched the show. And I watched the show because it intrigues me. I get very intrigued by things sometimes. I want to know what the fuck is the big deal. I want to know why she trends #1 every day. I want to know what the fuck is going on. You know, as a performer, whatever the hell we do, we're always, sometimes you're curious. I mean, me, I like to look at the bottom fucking line. She's #1 every day. You know what I'm saying? Brad Pitt could suck my dick. You follow me? When she's up there every day, 1, 3, I don't click to see what the fuck she does, but I see it. So about a year ago, we had, I don't know when the fuck, we had the discussion about, you know, the example that she set by doing the porn tape. It was something to that effect.
Right.
And it was funny.
And your fear of a big black cock.
Right. And it was weird how last night or the night before I caught myself watching the wedding.
Oh, you did?
You know, and I'm watching the wedding, and I'm watching the wedding, and I'm watching this fucking bullshit ball of whatever the fuck it was, but I'm watching the mother. And I'm watching the chubby sister, and I'm watching the retarded sister, the cute one, the one I'd like to just spank and hit her in the face with my dick
like
4
her.
times.
Yes.
Yeah, the little one, because
yeah,
she complains all the time.
Yeah.
And that's all she needs is a big dick. But that's not the conversation at hand. The conversation at hand is, what the fuck did she do that somebody gave her, I don't know the numbers, Felicia, but $2 or $3 million for the wedding. Somebody else gave her $3 million to do this. I mean, she ended up in that wedding, you know, making fucking $10 million. And I'm sitting there watching this Sunday night, and I didn't want to say nothing because I wanted to watch it the second night. And I watched it the second night last night. In fact, last night I taped it. My wife thought I was fucking crazy. But she was in the computer room, and she's like, what are you watching? I'm like, I just got to see this. I got to see what this is about. It all started when I was a kid with Saturday Night Live. I never understood why in the middle of us smoking a joint, you got to fucking go home to watch a TV show.
Yeah.
Like that always. And in those days, there weren't VCRs, there wasn't DVR. So you either watched it or you fucking missed it. Oh, but it's amazing how people went home. And I went home and I'm like, what the fuck am I missing here? And then, you know, TV shows over the years, they come and go, and these momos that get attached. But the Kardashians have been kicking ass now, steady, for a fucking while. So I'm watching this last night. I'm thinking to myself, I also watched an episode the other day in the daytime in between football. She was the episode where Prince brought her on stage and she couldn't dance. So
oh, right. I saw that episode.
He booed her off the stage, and she went for dance lessons.
Uh-huh.
And this is the thing about people that's always just killed me. So you sucked a dick on tape, but you get embarrassed at dance class.
I can completely understand.
You follow
that.
me? Yeah, it's so weird.
It,
the dimension is one to the other. But the weird thing about it is that I got to tell you something about Kim Kardashian in that show. She has the recipe for a reality show. She really puts herself out there. Like, I was switching back and forth. I didn't watch the whole fucking wedding. But I was watching, like, when she was telling him she was keeping her name. Because she's a business, you know. She's like, I don't give a fuck, you know, whatever. My business is my fucking name, bitch. And he was like, well, I think we should decide. It was like a real fucked up argument. I wouldn't even get into it.
See, now I didn't watch it, but really, she said
yeah.
that?
And she's so very good at what she does. And I understand it. I fucking stand it. Like when I'm watching this wedding last night, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Here I am in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. I'm 24. My boyfriend drives a fucking truck. His big thing is to watch the UFC. He makes $12 an hour. I'm sitting at this fucking Conoco. You know what I'm saying? I'm even taking you back even deeper.
A Conoco.
I'm sitting at a fucking Conoco selling gas to people.
Right.
I'm 24. I'm fucking attractive. You know, why can't that be my life? I understood the fairy tale for the first time in 48 years. The Kardashians broke it down to me. I understood the value. I understood why people buy the magazines. It all came to me last night. She opened up on fucking, you know, and like she can't dance. And she's a horrible public speaker. But you know what, man? She fucking does that show just right. And the sisters fall into place. It's like all the stars align. It's reality fucking gold. That's what it is. This is what people had been working for years. The Osbournes kind of got it, but they didn't. These motherfuckers got it. And they're going to stay around for another 2 years. They ain't going nowhere because she's a fucking wackadoo. Not even Lindsay Lohan shoplifting can make the fucking headlines. This bitch makes by fucking going to Beverly Hills to buy skin cream.
Right.
You know, it really amazes me the loyalty of people. Like, to me and you, we live here, so we see this shit all the time. We go to get coffee and there's cameras on the corner.
Right.
That's what people understand. We go to get fucking, to get coffee here and there's excuse me, sir. Can you go around this way? We're shooting a movie, you know.
No, in my neighborhood, they shoot all
the
around
fucking
here
time. All the time.
Like, really, dude, I can't fucking park in front of my house
No,
today.
yeah,
like, you
yeah,
get a little bit like
yeah.
that. You're like, really, Whoopi Goldberg? You have more than 12 items in that line.
You know what I
mean? Get
it's
the fuck
fucking
out.
crazy.
Betty White. The green light was not green. You should not be crossing. I might have to run you over. You get that way around LA, right?
No, it's very weird. So we see it. But I can imagine the people in Kentucky who don't really see that. And it's amazing how it all came to fruition. Earlier in the podcast, we were talking about kids, how some of them don't get math. You know, they get it somewhere between 6 and 16. You know what I'm saying? They get it. They're going to get it. Trust me. They're going to get 4 times 3 is 12 real fucking fast. We just don't know when. I finally got the Kardashians last night. And, like, it blew my mind to the effect that I had to come and talk to you about it tonight.
Wow.
Because I don't know what the conversation was last time. I know it was something negative on my part. But I understood the value they see for some people. Maybe they just create a dream. You know, and again, I think back when I was a kid, I listened to Black Sabbath. That was the only real thing that was keeping me alive then. Because I felt so shitty about my life. I always thought Black Sabbath has the answer. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll fucking bite a fucking bat's head off or something. I don't know, but I'm just...
Well, I watched the show. I'm not, like, religious. I didn't see the wedding, but I do watch it when they do it in reruns back to back.
Right, on a Sunday, you're in a hotel room.
Yeah, fuck it, I'll
You're in a
watch
hotel
it.
room in Austin. You got 3
Hoarders.
hours to quit. You know,
it.
and there was no football a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was in Milwaukee, and I watched a few episodes, and, you know, it was like, these motherfuckers got a niche.
But you know what I like? What I think, look, it is all the fairy tale that everyone likes, but what I like about it is it really shows the relationships between siblings and parents. I mean, yeah, on a grandiose level. Like, I was just at the gym, and they have, like, the TVs on top, and it's always CNN and ESPN, and then there's always, like, the Housewives or whatever. I've never actually seen it. I've never seen an episode, but I was sitting there doing my little elliptical machine, and they had the scrolling of the letters going across, you know, saying what everyone is saying. And it was just a fight. And, like, I know from popular, you know, what goes on, that's all they do is just kind of fight. That's a joke everyone makes. But it's just like, what is the purpose of those kind of shows, like those housewife shows? It just shows all these women having poor behavior. And what I like about the Kardashians is, yeah, it shows like a little bit of poor behavior, but it also shows the reality of, like, look, my family sucks and they get on my nerves, but at least they're family. You know what I mean? At least they stick together in a sense. And that's what I like about the family. Like I spoke last time about when Rob was having a difficulty about his father. Look, it is fucking bullshit. It all is silliness, but that part of it I liked. And like all how his sisters came up and were trying to be supportive of him and how he got the tattoo of his dad. And I mean, I like it. I love Bruce Jenner. He might be my favorite character on the show because he's odd man out and because he had this glorious past and now he's just the guy they kind of make fun of. And you know what I mean? Like everyone's dad who had a glorious past. I mean, I really like the relationship of everyone in the show.
And I didn't know that she managed them.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know till one of the episodes when fucking Thurston Howell III, the one that's married to the one that's hot, came home and he told the little girls he wanted to manage him.
Thurston Howell III.
Whatever,
oh, that one.
That fucking jerk off.
That guy. I don't get why she's
I don't
with that
get
guy.
that
She
at
should be with
all.
you, Joey.
Oh, I don't know. I don't want that. That little one complains too much. That's
she
a
is
heart.
a little complaint. She does get on my.
She's
nerves,
like
yeah.
I watched the one when he was going to Vegas and she drove him to the airport and the people come out of the plane with champagne bottles and shit.
Yeah.
She's like cracked. She won't say goodbye. And
Look, if you let your man wear a dickie and an ascot during the day,
yeah.
let a brother drink at night.
Let a brother
is all
drink
I'm
at
saying.
night. He's got to get enough
If you
grief.
can tolerate the dickie and the ascot, you need to shut the fuck up. That's all I'm going to say.
But in local fucking news, because I posted something and so did Felicia Michaels this morning because we have to discuss this. They're talking about closing the medical marijuana stores. And not helping it is when you fucking give old people brownies and they end up in the emergency room.
Oh, yeah. On a funeral in
At a
Huntington
fucking funeral.
Beach, someone gave... Oh, they were passing out... Did you read the whole article?
No, I just seen it on the news last night.
The person that had died was really into pot brownies. And at the funeral, they passed around brownies, and some older people just ate them, not realizing there was marijuana in them. And then they had to rush some of them to the hospital, and... that was just after they started complaining about
what a great fucking idea.
Annoying other mourners about where their car keys were.
What a great idea.
That's
to
a
just
long way
take
for a
you take a
fucking joke.
brownie and chop it into fours and give them out at little events like that.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to fuck the old people up. You just want to put a little pep in their fucking step. You know what I'm saying? You just want them to look around and go, wow, it's a beautiful day to be alive.
Old people are strictly one-hitters.
You know, one-hitters. You can't torture an old person with a full fucking brownie. That's cold-blooded. And I could see them. And I could see these old people biting into those brownies, eating coffee. Because old people are cheap. They always take something to go. The sugar, the bread, the fucking.
That's true.
So these old people took brownies to go. The first one hit them like Molly. They went back and said, damn, these brownies are good. They started drinking that coffee, eating that brownie at the nursing home. They went fucking bananas.
Yeah.
They heard Pink Floyd without the CD player. These people got rushed. And I could just imagine the feeling, because I know there's times I eat an edible and I forget about it. And goddamn, for about 20 minutes, I'm thinking of driving myself to the emergency room. I swear to God, I'm like, my blood sugar low.
That's why I can't do it.
My eyeballs are on fire. I can't imagine somebody who's 65 and never gotten high before. But I'll tell you what, all three of those old people are sitting there right now, like touching their face going, huh.
Yeah,
It was bad, but how bad was it?
Yeah.
I just wasn't prepared for it. Get that bitch back on the phone. I want to get mine. Think about it. A lot of those people if you're not prepared for medical marijuana, eating it, it's a fucking shock to your system. It really is. Like anything else.
Yeah,
Even anything else is a shock to your system if you don't know it's in your system. But once they put two and two together, I don't care how old they were. You ever see that commercial of the old guy sitting there and he's 90 and he turns the candle around, he turns into 60? That's the dude that ate the brownie today. Motherfucker said, what, 90? I just ate a pop brownie, lived, and went to the hospital.
Well, and they banged that whole brownie, they did.
Oh, you have no idea.
Geez, yeah.
Listen, I ate a half a cookie at the UFC last Saturday, and at one point, my fucking eyeballs were on fire. I couldn't even talk. And I remember looking up to see how far I had to walk to get a soda. And all I thought about was Bill Hicks saying, smoking pot doesn't make you lazy. It just makes you realize that what you're going to do ain't really fucking worth it.
Right.
And I looked at that and I was like, I ain't that thirsty. And I just sat there.
But do you enjoy that feeling in the midst of the marijuana possession, when it's possessed you and you are its foot soldier?
I really, really do. I'm not enjoying the parts of the day anymore being high. Like, there's parts of the day now that I'm just getting too worn out, because I really appreciate the morning. That first blast in the morning to me is my fucking world. That's the flowers in my life. When I wake up, I see the cats, I see my wife. We talked about this shit, but that first fucking bong hit or that first hit or whatever is mind-boggling. Mixed with a little coffee, with a little Facebook. It really fucking is. I can't really describe it to people. And the people who do it know what the fuck I'm talking. I don't care what you do for a living. You could be a fucking surgeon. These guys get it together by the time they go in and start stitching you up. Listen, I'd rather have a surgeon that did a bong hit at 5 than some uptight fucking asshole that's worried about his bills or he's got surgery at 11:30. A guy that did a bong hit at 5 in the morning, he's balanced. It's like going to yoga.
I don't know if I'd want my surgeon
Fuck
to do
you.
a bong hit.
I don't want 20
Joey.
bong hits. I don't want them to do 20 bong hits and listen to Master Reality by Black Sabbath. That's a complete different situation. I'm talking one bong hit to go, just to get that leg moving. You know how it is. Just to get that leg moving. You know what I'm saying? At 6 o'clock. Think about it. How many times when you used to smoke, you get up at 6 or 7 and take up, you'd be a little cloudy about your day. You knew you had to meet somebody at 3. You knew you had to meet somebody at 1. But once you hit that first wang of that number, it all came into focus. You even figured out in your mind what road you're going to take, where you're going to stop and get a cookie, a soda, a hot dog. You figure it all comes to tune. This guy's sitting there going, wow, what do I got? I got Felicia Michaels' pussy at 8, and I got Joey Diaz's fucking throat at 11:30. Ooh, just another day of paradise. But also when he hits that fucking bong hit, and he's like, it's just not Felicia. That's super pussy. It's going to be a good day. I'm going to go do whatever I do.
But then you'll lose something inside of you.
Nah, so what? So you never had a spoon in your pussy or something?
I don't want to wake
After a
up
long
and
fucking
have a
night?
Mercedes key stuck on my
So
pussy.
what? Lisa, how many people do you
know?
think could go on television and say, hey, bitch, I got a fucking Mercedes? As a matter of fact, the other night I was watching a TV show, like one of those late night. Again, when you're in a hotel room and you're on the road,
Yeah, you do watch some.
you watch some
shit.
shit.
Yeah.
So I put something on. I think it was True TV of a lady who kept eating stuff.
Oh.
Did you see that?
I didn't see that, but there's people that eat weird shit.
This bitch ate like I don't even know what she ate originally, and they made her drink the ink. And the guy goes to give her the ink, and he goes, "Listen, this stuff tastes terrible." The bitch took it and downed it like it was a milkshake. He's like, "Oh my god!" And then on the way to the emergency room, they figured out she had like a shoe or a fucking flashlight or whatever the fuck she had in her stomach. But then on the way out of the emergency room, she looked around and somebody left a battery on the fucking table. She just took the battery and swallowed it. Halloween is the most innocent, you know, like I was walking like the other day in Ralph's or something. Halloween is like the most innocent place on earth. Like, you know, it's like the most innocent, not place, but the most innocent, like,
Holiday? You mean
holiday, like for kids. Yeah, like
festival,
Christmas, there's too much pressure.
Thing,
You're stressing. You know, for Christmas, you just for Halloween, you can just put a towel around your neck. And you could be a superhero, but it's just so weird. And every time I think of Halloween, like I know next week you're going to send me, Joey, what was your most memorable Halloween? And it was the times when we did the creepiest shit. Like the creepiest shit. It was what drove me. Like till this day, I was watching the George Harrison
documentary on HBO.
Did you watch any of it?
It was really good. Yeah.
But the one guy said that we were just trying to be adults. There's some scene that he talks about, and he goes, you know, the best thing about life is that you walk around pretending to be an adult. You know, like you see me, and I was like, holy shit, that hits home. Because I'm such a fucking kid, you know. And I was talking to somebody about Halloween. They go, what's your memory? And I go, you know what? I remember taking a shit in a bag, you know, and you...
You took a shit in a bag.
You take a shit in a bag, or you take. I don't think I took the shit in the bag. You get a brown bag from the store, and you walk around. In those days, people were allowed for dog shit when there was minimal amount of dogs, and you could scoop up a piece of dog shit, put it in like wrap it like in a sandwich, like a wrap like as a sandwich, and you put lighter fluid, light it on fire, and ring somebody's doorbell. And they come out and they step on it and they look around like, you motherfuckers. But it's so weird when you tell somebody you do that, how they look at you, and like it's so juvenile. Until you do it. And I remember doing it like 3 or 4 times. How hysterical it is to see somebody come out of their house waiting for the fucking pizza man, and they look down and there's a fire on their porch, and we put like different bags of shit. Like we figured out that one wasn't enough. You put like 10 out there.
Really?
And we light like 10 little pieces of shit on fire and you know, people come out and they try to step. But it's amazing how people react to fire. Me, I would have came out and chased the kids. These are little fires. They're going to blow out. It's a bag. Once the bag blows out, the fire is over with. But it's so weird how, you know, people would chase us and we'd laugh and giggle. Until this day, when I even thinking about it, I giggle because it was so much fun to me to see people come out and then you go back the next day and they're scraping... They're scraping their balconies and they have that mean look on their face like, tonight I'm going to catch these fuckers. So the next night we would do something else to them, like burn their bushes on fire. This went on, you know, and we're from Jersey, but that whole, it's Halloween, but what's the night before Halloween? We spoke about it once about a year ago. It's called Satan's Night, and it's really originated in Detroit.
Oh, in Detroit,
where it really gets bad, and they showed it in The Crow, and I had heard stories about it growing up with us. In Jersey, it was like a week long of fucking Satan's Night. We would just fuck with people.
Really?
But, you know, I don't even remember what we would do, you know, like break their windows or whatever, you know, like just, and God forbid you didn't give candy in my neighborhood. Like if you didn't give candy, or you didn't give quarters and shit, like if you gave pennies, you were doomed.
Yeah.
You were doomed. We'd hinted out to get like little block parties. Yeah, people better give fucking no apples this year. We'll fuck you up. No apples.
Well, you were mini gangsters.
Yeah, we were mini gangsters. But I think that there's something that I think about, Felicia. I remember the first time I tell you, there's something I think about almost every Halloween. It's going on that school trip down to whatever, Brigantine, New Jersey, to Dracula's castle, and us fucking walking in, and we were like innocent kids, you know. We had broken windows and we had stolen sneakers from Biddy basketball, but we were good kids for the most part. But we thought we were tough guys, you know. We were like, we could fucking fight if we had to. And all of a sudden, these fucking, you know, we had little costumes and shit, like little gangster costumes. But all of a sudden, our bus pulled up, and like Passaic pulled up, like this black school pulled up. And they came out with the gangster walk. They were all like 12, and they were little gangsters. And there was no beef between us because we had flavor. But as we're going in, we're talking like they were talking about weed or whatever it was, like maybe getting a 6-pack of beer between 20 of us or something. All of a sudden, Dracula, this one guy who was dressed as, bumps out. And bumps this black kid, like a 12-year-old. And I remember him going like, "What the fuck, motherfucker?" And the guy's like, "Hey, it's an amusement park." The guy's like, "Fuck that, bitch!" And all of a sudden, these three little black gangsters just started beating They just started beating Dracula up. And these are like 12-year-olds. And I think you have a 12-year-old. So think of a 12-year-old punching you. It's not hard. But when you have three 12-year-old punching you, it's hard. And they're going for hell. They don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah, right.
They just, "Fuck you, motherfucker, fuck you." And the guy's like, "Stop. But these guys weren't stopping. They were going to kill this poor guy. And they kept to scare us, bitch. We're from Passaic and shit. They're beating on the guy. Finally, the guy goes down and they're dragging him. I'll never forget, the guy had like a Dracula wig and it was... It was half off. They ripped his outfit. And I remember that my head almost fucking exploded. Like, there's nothing worse in the world to think that you're good at something or that you're bad to the bone and then see somebody else like beat the fuck out of Dracula.
Let me ask you this question. What were you doing at the time when your friend was getting beat down?
My friend wasn't Dracula.
Oh, it wasn't your friend?
No!
Oh.
Dracula was a guy that, hey, we all make choices in life. You know what I'm saying?
Did you know that guy at all?
No, this is like the Brigantine, like 2 hours from
Yeah.
my house, and the city of North Bergen in those days would take a bunch of kids down to, like little trips. And they happened to take us because we were friends with the cop across the street. So they took all of us, and like I said, we were listening to like Peter Frampton. We had gone to a liquor store once or twice. We thought we were bad.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, these black kids, not only were they bad, but they beat the fuck out of... Like, we went home on the bus like, wow, how do we fucking get to be that bad? Like, what are we going to do now? That trumps everything, beating up Dracula at a fucking haunted house.
Wow.
But every time I think about it, I don't think of pumpkins. Like, my wife's like, "What do you do? You want to get some pumpkins for Halloween?" I'm like, "Listen, I just want to get a punching bag." You know what I'm saying? Every time I think of Dracula getting beat up, I'm like, that could have been me. That could be one of us at our age going to haunt kids.
Well, I was last year went to a party, and for some reason I got stuck handing out candy at the door, and I started getting a little angry about handing out candy, because you can totally see how people, as little kids in outfits, what kind of person they're going to grow up to be. Like, bitch, you already stopped by and got 3 big candy bars. I'm not giving you fucking anything.
And they're working like it's an insurance medication.
Yeah.
Oh.
They send up well, my 6-month-old wants a Twix bar too. Fuck you. 14-year-old with your baby. Fuck you.
Well, bring them over here. Let them walk over here and shit.
Yeah. Anyway.
Very funny, Felicia. Very funny podcast. I had a very nice time with you today.
Well, as always, I enjoy your company, Mr.
October
Diaz.
Shit already.
I know. I can't believe how fast things are
Couple
going.
more weeks for Halloween.
I know.
Shit's crack-a-lackin'.
I know.
Bitches, we'll be back next week with another fun-filled podcast. If you want to email us, drop it, Felicia.
You may email us at beautyandthebeastpodcast@gmail.com. I am going to be performing all around LA next week. Anything you got shaking, Mr. Diaz? I'll be at the Ice House. I'm going to be at Flappers. I'm going to be at the Improv. I'm going to be
I got nothing. You know what I'm saying? Why you got to fucking make me look bad and embarrass me?
Let's go down to the Ha-Ha and harass some of those open micers.
The main thing is,
way.
people, have you noticed, we don't even thank sponsors no more because we ain't got none. Not because we had no opportunity. So if you know anybody who wants to sponsor us, throw a couple digits at us every week. We'll mention your name. We'll jump up and down here. We'll all have a good time. You understand me?
Yeah, that would be nice.
So if you want to inquire, send us an email. We got things going on you might want to be a part of. Send us an email. We got some good emails last week, and that's it, guys.
For
I love
those
you,
of you,
motherfuckers.
by the way, for those of you who haven't seen the animation, would you go to beautyandthebeast.com, and it's right on the front page. We would love for you to hit on that so that people know that we're kind of popular.
Stay black, people. Have a great week.
Sorry about that.